This is, to be exact, is an open ship, and it's exposed for all types of weather. Everything comes over the side, the rail of the ship, we have to pump out. So we have proved pump out or bail out. So we have proved it's possible. And many didn't believe we should make it before. But I was sure of it because of the history. They have done it before. Why shouldn't we be able to do it? And we have proved it. It's possible.
It's probably the most authentic ship you'll see, and people notice that. You know, they really do. There's plenty of pirate ships sailing around, and people will have a good time on them. But people comment on how beautiful this ship is, and so people see the differences. And a lot of effort went into presenting that. And that's what the ship does, is it goes around and presents an image of the Viking Age from 1,000 years ago.
Well, I learned that you could fit up to 100 men on the boat, and most of the boats weren't that big. They were kind of small, and they didn't have room under deck. You either slept on top of the deck or in they took out pieces of the wood where you would just sleep there.
So this is Hunin and Munin. These were Odin's ravens, and what the Vikings would do is when they went out to explore, they were doing blue water sailing and they weren't sure where land was. So they would pick a direction and head out, and periodically what they would do to look for land that's outside of their line of sight is they would release a raven. And because the raven is not a water bird, the raven either would come back, letting them know that they weren't within raven range of land, or if the raven did not return, they would head off in the direction they last saw the raven flying. So it was this is the original radar.
The ship itself is predominantly made of oak. So all of this here is oak. Our yard there is made of spruce, and then our mast is made of fir. This is actually the second mast that we had. During a test run on the way to England, the first one snapped. Yes, it was all very dramatic. Luckily, no one was hurt, but it did give us some insight into what we needed to do to make the ship better for the next run. So we do a similar treatment on the wood to keep it safe. We use linseed oil, and that just kind of soaks in and makes another layer, protects it from all the elements and such. Both of these materials are very flammable and water resistant, and the crew is now as well, because we're all just covered in it. So showers are hard and we go up like a match.
Most of our clothes are in dry bags right under the decks, and our most essential stuff like rain gear, life vests, and some of the personal belongings are in this box. Each of us has about this big section in here.
I think the authenticity of it and learning how everything on it was hand forged. There's no modern machinery that was used to build it. So I guess like all the spikes and nails and things like that were hand forged, and all the wood was hand sewn, or most of the wood was hand sawn and carved and things like that. It's just really cool that much effort and art was put into it. The artisticness of replicating an old ship.
We have to supply food for about 30 to 34 people at any given time. So, spaghetti bolognese, do a sausage and rice kind of thing. We do beef stews, usually good hearty food that will feed people and give them the energy to do the physical labor that we have to do on a day-to-day basis.
What motivates me cooking on Draken is making people happy, but it's not something that I do in my everyday life. I only cook on this ship, and I keep coming back for the ship because it's one of a kind of ship, and I keep coming for the people.
When I sail this boat in the open ocean, it's just horizon wherever I look. It's totally freedom, I can tell you.
I think it would be a good idea if people would kind of think differently about our history, kind of want to go out and learn about it. And just to see it in person is just really interesting, and a lot more interesting if you were to see it online.